And welcome back to the Apollo City Comics Podcast. My name is Javi Martinez. As the associate editor, and let's not forget bringer of good vibes here at Apollo, I figured we're going to keep the good vibes going, where I interview a few Apollo creators as they kickstart new books here at Apollo City Comics, in a little show I like to call Kickin with Javi. On today's show, we are promoting the Eurotrip Kickstarter with fellow Apollo creators Mari Morgan and Willy Dean as we discuss their projects Sugar Rush and Skullhead. Let's go.
First, I am Willy Dean. I write and illustrate Skullhead comic. That's pretty much all I do outside of work. So my life's passion.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm Mari, and I'm only working on comics because I'm disabled and I can't work outside, So I'm working on Sugar Rush, and it's my passion project. I can say it.
Nice. And I think more than anything, a very fun question that a lot of people like to ask in these type of interviews is just why comics for you guys? Like, what got you into it? What's got you to start creating more than anything? And why did you want to start creating?
Well, I started off with
Go ahead.
sorry. I used to read comics as a kid, and then I stopped for years and years, and my cat actually got hit by a car. So I found myself with a lot of free time, and I got back into comics and just thought that I could draw one. So, yeah.
Man, I think a super interesting thing too, and I have something that we'll kind of ask that a little, I'll ask a little later, but just in this room here, we are all writer artists, and that's something that's super interesting, and I think we'll get into that a little bit. But what about you, Mari? Why comics, and especially in your case, manga, especially that's very unique to itself, where it's we're bringing that over here to Apollo, and it's the first manga book that we have on the line and whatnot. So it's why comics for you?
I started because of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Nice.
I was fascinated by the anime, and then I told my godfather once that I thought the anime was very it was good, but at the same time it was for children, and I was like, oh, I wish it was darker, and my godfather was like, say less. So he gave me the first volumes, and I fell in love, and I decided that one day I would draw comics and manga, and that I would meet Kazuki Takahashi. He's dead, but I tried.
Yeah, I have that same relation with Stan Lee, who had his last New York Comic Con announced here, and I really wanted to go. And I was at New York Comic Con, but I just couldn't afford to do the photo op with him, and he passed away a year or two later after that, so I missed out on that as well. So I get that for sure. But I mean, like I mentioned, we're all writer artists here in this room, and I think that's kind of unique in the sense of Apollo, of just there's not many writer artists a part of the team like that. A lot of everyone else are kind of teams and things of that nature. I guess why for you guys did you decide to go with Apollo with the things that you do, considering it's not what we do so much with the team, but we're a little unique in that sense, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think Apollo, it's a good group of people. Everyone's really passionate about what they do. And I think that's why a lot of us do write and draw as well, because we're just passionate about our ideas. So we put it upon ourselves to get it out there, how we vision it.
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
I think definitely to that point, it's just, there's not many people who do what we do in the sense of kind of doing the whole, running the whole sausage. And I think not many people can totally get that. And I think what Apollo does and what's so great about that is just they really allow us the space to create and make our own little worlds and stuff and just have fun with that. I think that's not a lot of what you can find more publishers nowadays, but we're trying to change that.
Oh, yes. I think it's a good community,
Yeah, I don't know if you had anything else to say more to that, Mari, but I know for sure we just started a Discord server and we're all having a lot of fun in those chats and stuff, and those are a great way for us to just shoot the shit about whatever we wanted to.
Yeah, we are a fun group. It's like there is no discrimination in Apollo, and that's what I like, because it's silly, but when I talk to publishers, they're like, "Oh, you're a woman, you're queer," yeah, and they don't like that. So I'm glad Apollo is more open-minded about that.
Yeah, of course. We have we're actually working on some queer books in the future for sure, and even on top of that, just trying to think about how we can make even smut books down the line. We're trying to do whatever we can, so we're having a lot of fun with that for sure. I think like I mentioned, we're all writer artists in this room. I know for sure I deal with writer artist block from time to time, and I don't know how you guys combat that specifically, but for myself, for sure, when I deal with any writer artist block, like more than anything, I just work on something else. I'm just like, you know what? Let me put this away for a second and just be like, you know what? I'm just going to work on something else. And in the time that I'm working on something else, that really helps me open my mind a little bit more and take a step back from whatever I needed to work on and say, hey, you know what? Once I come back to this, I have newer ideas. I have a deeper drive to say, hey, you know what? I want to finish this now because I have newer ideas. I don't know how you guys deal with any writer artist block.
No, I
Yes.
totally agree with you. Yeah. I find myself working on 4 different books at the same time because I'll just get that block and need to move over to something else. So just constantly bouncing around.
Definitely.
Same.
I mean, yeah, Mari, you work on a lot. You are such a fast creator. It's incredible how quickly you can create, and every time you produce work, it's just so cool to see what you can put out. And it's you put out the stickers for Sugar Rush. You did that super sick back cover for Sugar Rush and things of that nature. And it feels almost effortless when you do it. I don't know. I feel like when you put out that work, you're just kind of yeah, I did it. And it's this is
I
great.
wish it was that simple. Honestly, I love drawing, and I only do that every day, so it seems simple. But most of the time, I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? Because I don't do thumbnails, and I don't prepare anything. Even Sugar Rush, I like that. And I had fun working on it, and I'm still having fun working on the sequel and everything. And right now, I'm working on a smut book.
Nice.
So I don't know what will happen with that, but it's just because I want to have fun. And so it seems simple. It's not.
Of course. Yeah, we definitely, I mean, I think we all know in this room, making comics is something that is not simple at all. And I think
Yeah.
more and more that we make comics, the more that we realize how difficult it actually is to make really good comics. And I think that's something that we're really excited about with the Kickstarter here, where with Eurotrip, we're bringing you guys over to the States. We're bringing you guys over to physical books in people's hands here and stuff. And that's really exciting because there's a lot of people out there who might have seen your stuff online, read it digitally, but this is the first time they can get it in their hands. And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And a question that I had is that even in terms of the physical books themselves, Willy, you work in an A4 size, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And and for Marie, you work in your manga sizes, and that's something that we're really excited about because we're gonna be producing these really non-standard comic book format books, and I think that's gonna really get people excited. They're gonna be like, whoa, what the hell? This is when DC Black Label started releasing their books and doing in their big magazine sizes and stuff. It's different, and I think a lot of people are gonna like that a lot. But why do you guys work in those formats? Why, what about it appeals to you the most? And I would imagine it's things of space and things of just I guess the standard for certain genres like manga itself, but it's just anything in particular you could add to that?
It's easier. It's just easier.
It's just easier. Okay. That's an amazing answer in itself. You get just less work.
For me, I just wanted the extra space. I tried working to the standard comic book sizes, but I felt like I was trying to squeeze everything into the page, which is why I went that couple of inches bigger for the A4. Kind of regret it now because obviously it puts costs up and affects shipping and stuff, but I don't know, I'm going to stick with it.
I mean, I
Yeah, your
think
pages are very filled. Yeah, they are very full. Sorry, I interrupted. I
oh no,
interrupted you.
not at all. I was gonna say the same thing. Like, your pages are very full. You definitely take advantage of the space that you have in your A4 sizes, and that's something that maybe other creators might not necessarily think about. Like they might just sort of use the space to create maybe more dramatic effect of like solo images of characters and portrait shots and things of that nature. But your background game is insane, man. Like you put in so much
Thank you.
detail into all your panels, and it's so cool to just bounce your dart your eye around the screen or the page and just look at everything that's going on and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, I tend to hide a lot of stuff in the background as well. Like sometimes there's like song lyrics, or I've had this thing running where I hide a rubber duck in every issue. So at some
Oh,
point in the future, there's going to be a competition, but yeah, sort of like a Where's Wally type thing.
that's very reminiscent of like the worm in Adventure Time that constantly just pops
Yeah,
up in and around the episodes. I think but uh Skullhead has been super great to read. It's so bizarre and
thank you.
wacky, and like I remember you mentioned something at some point that a lot of it is kind of based on like true events, but it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so bizarre and insane, and it's kind of hard to like pinpoint where like reality stops and like fiction begins. Like where do you draw the line for that sometimes?
Um, it's difficult to say. It varies because they always say write what you know.
Mhm.
So everything will start as like something that's happened in my life or something that's happened to a friend of mine, and then I'll just exaggerate that to make it a bit more insane. And obviously for the world that it's all setting, because it's not very realistic to have mutants running around the place and stuff. But yeah,
Would you consider it more of like a sci-fi type of world, or like what would you consider like the world of Skullhead? Because the only reason why I even mentioned sci-fi is just because I think a great quote I've once seen is something along the lines of sci-fi lets us see the world in a different light, where you look at people like mutants and things like that, and we can look at them as others, and that can be very allegorical to things in our life. And I'm curious if there's any like connection to that for you when you create your world in Skullhead.
I would definitely call it sci-fi, and I think I wanted to have it in a sci-fi sort of setting so that I could do crazy things like have cosmic doom gods and stuff. Just wanted to play with those sort of ideas. So yeah, I would definitely call it sci-fi with a touch of horror.
Nice. And Marie, for yourself, like working in manga, like I see a lot of the times you use a lot of very close up shots on like say people's and their eyes and like uh things like that really add to the drama and tension. And I see a lot of the times you like to use like these really big splash pages of like black and then just text on it. And they're so dramatic and they bring so much like tension to the page that's going on of like, oh man, this is like an intense moment right here. Like where do you get more of your inspiration for in terms of your writing for Sugar Rush? Because it's a very, you know, angel demon story is always a very fun one to tell. And so where do you get your writing inspiration for that? Like where did this come about?
Would you believe me if I told you Victor Hugo?
I actually would, yeah.
He wrote La fin de Satan. It's based on what happened supposedly when God kicked Satan out of heaven because Satan told him that flooding Earth wasn't very kind, and so God kicked Satan out because he didn't like to be told what to do. And Satan ended up living in the darkness, the void. And I think it's very interesting to read Victor Hugo's work on that because he speaks of what is evil and what is good, and the fact that you can't exactly separate the two of them. It's meant to be together. There is no true evil, no true good in the eyes of Victor Hugo, and I think that's a cool concept, and
Mhm.
that's a philosophy that rings with me. And so I think I kept that for Sugar Rush, and also there is a notion of kintsugi, the fact that being evil or being good is linked to the fact that you think of yourself as broken or damaged. And now I think everybody can rebuild themselves, but it's a lifelong journey, you know? So angels and demons are very fascinating for that. I don't know if that's what you wanted to hear.
No, I mean
But
that's incredible. I think that whole notion, I mean, you say it in the opening lines of Sugar Rush, the almost what you said here of how everyone's a little broken and we're all just trying to like slowly repair ourselves. And I think a lot of that aids to the story of Sugar Rush overall and just the not even the hero's journey, but just anyone's life and outside of comics or in a story, wherever the case is, we all are trying to do that at the end of the day. And I think you tell that very beautifully. I think it's always a great concept to mess around of angel demons and really put them on a person's shoulders and just really see what happens and what comes out of that. I think more than anything, like you mentioned that about like what you're inspired by. Anything that would you guys say inspires you, say in terms of where you guys are from, like from the France and the UK? Like I know for myself living here in New York, like I'm very much inspired by like the buildings here and stuff. Like I if I remember the first panel that I ever got published for CyberSync for Apollo, it was a skyline that I had drawn, and it was a sci-fi skyline. And I hadn't thought much of it. I didn't use any reference for anything. And a lot of people asked me, is this supposed to be New York? And it's just something that came naturally, instinctually. And I'm just curious if there's anything like that of like from where you guys are from that kind of bleeds into your work.
honestly, I think France is very rich in terms of culture, but it's also the country of love. If anything, it's a country of romance. It's a country of Victor Hugo, Baudelaire. There are plenty of damaged poets in there, and so that's my inspiration. I often dream of that kind of work, and that ends up being what I read. Sorry, and what I want to write. You know, and I think I'm inspired by mostly the books that were written here. You know.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, definitely there's a lot of like romantic culture in France for sure. And that like even past the conventional romance between people, there's just it's very I guess I don't know if it would be correct to say like connects to say gothic romance and things of that
Yes.
nature. So
Yes.
and just things like Frankenstein, I'm sure you are probably a huge fan of or whatever the case is. So I definitely get that vibe for sure of just like past the nature aspect and just, you know, touching with humanity and with yourself is very, I'm sure, rich over there in France.
Oh yes.
What about you, Willie?
Well, obviously, I feed on the British punk history quite a lot. Like, really guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like British humor in there.
Mhm.
Like, there's a very certain sort of wit to it. May not be a good thing, but
I mean, I absolutely
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I really love Mari's. I was reading it earlier today, and her characters are just so well written. Like, there's so much personality to them. It's really impressive.
Oh.
I wish I could do stuff like that, but
I love your work. It's very crispy and clean, and I love that. And the humor is very funny. I love dark humor, but sometimes people make it very mean, and I don't like that. But with you, it's not mean. It's just fun. I love that, and the art is so magnificent. I love your art.
thank you. Thank you.
I think with Skullhead, it's very cheek and tongue. It's like it's that level of like humor where it's just like the satire is very underlying where half the times before you even realize it, you're like, wait a second. And I think that's a really great thing in your writing. And it's just it's so clever and that goes hand in hand with your panel composition, just how you lay things out and like in between panels, I think very masterful of how you go about it. It's super dope, man.
That's good to hear. I normally focus so much on the art because I don't think I'm very good at the writing, so I try and distract you. But, no, it's good.
I definitely
The
think
writing is very good.
it is. I definitely think like we can all relate to being writer artists, where it's just we probably focus more on the art first, more than anything, before touching the writing. But
Yes.
I think being visual artists helps us aid the writing process at the end of the day. It really, I mean, I know for myself when I thumbnail, or if and or when I do thumbnail, I'll definitely like put my speech bubbles and everything on all my thumbnails to really plan things out as I go, to just say like, hey, you know what? I don't know where I'm going to get to with this, but by the time I get to the lettering phase, I have a very set mind of like, this is going to happen on this page or on this panel, whatever the case is. And there's a lot of joy in having all the hands on deck for that as a writer artist, where I'm sure you guys can relate to that, of just like with this final product, it's ours. And that's a super dope thing to do.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
our babies.
Yeah. I think more than anything, I just wanted to ask, like, to kind of somewhat wrap things up, and like definitely feel free to, you know, say what you need to with this. But what's like something that you really want people to come out of when they read Skullhead or Sugar Rush? Like, what is like something that you want people to, once they're done reading, they're like, damn, this. Like, what is that for you?
But for me, I want people to just be entertained for a few minutes. Like, I'm quite open about the fact I see this as light entertainment, trashy stories. Like, it's not all about the meaning of life, but I think all of the characters try and approach things in a way that they're trying to be nicer to people or trying to be better. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
So just how people should be. Be nice. That's it.
I love that.
I want people to think that they can be better and that they can feel better. But I want them to know that they can ask for help too. It's okay to cry, it's okay to scream, and it's okay to say, I want help, I need help. There's no shame in that. And that's all I want people to listen to and to learn from my comics, you know?
It's beautiful. I definitely think like even to get that insight of just how it's a very like sweet and sugar, like, or a salt and sugar type of thing here, where it's like we have Skullhead on one hand just being very dark in a sense and just being like wacky and wild, and we have Sugar Rush also dark but really telling like a really sweet story at the end of the day, when it's like, but more than anything there's that Venn diagram that just kind of closes in, that says, hey, you know what, let's be a little better to each other, let's just be a little nicer.
Yes.
I think that's like such a great thing of both of these stories. They just are stories that just tell us to be better people. And I think those are some of the best stories. And I think more than anything, people are going to be super excited to check out the Eurotrip Kickstarter, read Sugar Rush and Skullhead, get them physically in their hands. They're going to be so hyped. I mean, I know I'm already hyped. We, at this point, day of filming, we have 13 days left, if I remember correctly. So
Yes.
Yeah.
definitely feel free to keep funding it. We're trying to get as much as we can. We've already surpassed our goal, but you know what? The better we do, the more rewards and little goodies and things like that people will be able to get, which is always fun. But if you guys want to plug anything, feel free to go ahead. You can go ahead first, Mari.
No, honestly, I'm just glad I'm here, you know, and I'm glad I could talk with you about that. And I'm mostly glad that I could enjoy Willy's work, because really it's amazing. Really love your art.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, just back the Kickstarter. I've backed it. Have you guys backed it?
I have.
I couldn't. I don't have enough money for it.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to. My
okay.
fiance did. My fiance did.
Nice.
Good. Yeah, so
But where can people find you? Like your IGs, if you guys got those.
No, I have Instagram. So I think my handle is Mari Grou or something like that. I forgot. And I have Kara and Blue Sky and Tumblr.
Nice. And what about you, Willy?
at Skullhead Comic on Instagram. It's the only thing I really use. So find me there, on my website, goitcomic.com. There's some cool stuff on there. There's free digital comics as well. So
Beautiful. Love
That's
it.
true. That's true.
But-
That's true.
But yeah, guys, that was what we are trying to do, is relaunching this new little Apollo City podcast. We're always trying to figure some stuff out. If you guys have any suggestions, any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments, whatever. And we'll figure it out. I think more than anything, I was super glad to do this, to kind of help launch this and have Mari and Willy here to support the Eurotrip Kickstarter. I'm super excited to see how close we can get to that 1,000 goal. I really hope we can hit that 1,000 goal. So please, guys, back us and feel free to catch us on the next episode of Apollo City.